Lacey Howard here with Third Movement, bringing the podcast to you guys. Yes, I said podcast. I usually say video, but welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. Right, I'm gonna be with you for an hour and something minutes. And we're gonna be discussing a lot of different things, current events, hot topic, news stories, a whole lot of different things. Now, this is still today's show. I just want to be honest with you guys. It's gonna be a little difficult. Simply just because today's show we're going to be talking about race, right? How can the church get rid of racism? That's today's topic, and we can play a big role. I really do believe that the church can play a big role, but it's because I really feel that it's because we're divided. The reason why race is a big role in America, or maybe even in the world. Right, if we look at America and look at churches, we have a white church, a black church, and a Hispanic church. There's too much separation, too much division, so we're going to talk about that today. Right, we'll get into a couple of hot topics. There's a new school opened up for transgender students and teachers from the age of kindergarten to 12th grade. Kindergarten to 12th grade. What do a kindergarten know about being homosexual or being heterosexual? When I was in kindergarten, I wanted to marry my red fire truck because I loved my red fire truck. And then I had the next grade later, I wanted to marry my dinosaur because my dinosaur was awesome. I didn't know if there would be a female or a male. I just knew I loved it because this is my favorite toy. Come on, people. Let's talk about stuff like this, right? And I think we're gonna just go with some news headlines. I haven't did news headlines in a while. So today's show should be a pretty good one. And I wanna make something clear right away. I don't gay bash, right? I don't care if you're gay. If you gay, that's you. I'm gonna give you the truth of Jesus Christ. I'm gonna live the truth of Jesus Christ, and I'm gonna tell you the truth of Jesus Christ. If you don't want to follow that truth and you want to go about yourself, only thing I can do is pray for you and hope that you will change. I hope that you will find the truth, the true truth, because we're living in a world today where everybody just say, "Okay, my truth is my truth." We don't have a truth, and I guess this comes from the whole Oprah movement, you know, with her whole Eckhart some Eckhart, where he had the new ageism. The new ageism says I have my own truth. There's so much going on in our culture. There's so much going on in our culture that I really want to talk about culture today a little bit too as well. I have a cup of, well, it was a cup of apple juice, and now it's a finished cup of apple juice. Oh my goodness! Now it's a finished cup of apple juice. I don't know what you got in your drink. I hope it's something healthy. I hope it's something good. I usually have water. Started today's show without water. Started with apple juice. I needed a little wake. I needed a little jolt. I needed something sweet. You know me and my sweet tooth. I gotta pray for that. And looking around at my desk is really messy today. After I did the show yesterday, I did a lot of I did a lot of work the last few days, and didn't clean my desk. So after I do the show and upload the show today, that's what I'm going to be working on next, is cleaning my desk. It's not that bad, but it is bad. All right, so like I said, I want to talk about current events, right? Something that's really not being talked about is there's especially on Facebook, and for me, Facebook has been in my life in a different way these last few years, right? Facebook has been my Rolodex. This is how I keep in touch with people. It's kind of easy for me because I've been working the last 2 years. I have been working overnights, so the times that I would be up and awake, everybody asleep because I became a night owl. So the best way I could get in touch with people or keep in touch with people was to leave little messages on their messengers on Facebook, and it's been a way of my Rolodex. And then because I haven't been able to talk to people and see what's going on with them, or I haven't been able to see what's happening in the daytime because I was sleeping in the daytime, I became a vampire. Not a real vampire. I just held the hours, right? So I haven't seen much of the sun. I haven't seen much of people. So I haven't really been knowing what was going on other than the internet, Facebook. People leaving little stories about what's going on in their lives. People leaving little news clips about what they was into. That's how I've been able to understand and see what's going on with people. And one thing that I noticed in Facebook the last few years is there has been a minority of people building on there that are, I'm not gonna call them atheists. I'm gonna call them deists, and I'm gonna say they definitely don't believe in Christianity, God. They don't believe in our Jesus, right? We get the music back going. They don't believe in our Jesus, right? And they see Christianity as something slave owners used to manipulate us. We're manipulated using Christianity. That's how they see Christianity. And there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. Slave owners use Christianity to manipulate. But if it wouldn't have been Christianity, it would have been something else. Trust me. But it's this move against religion. And I think, and then we read the story the other day that, the millennials are more skeptical of the church. And I would say we're more skeptical of religion, period. Right? And that's what I've been noticing, skeptical of religion. I almost can't say skeptibility. I don't know if skeptibility is a word. I don't want to make up words on air. So we noticed that people been more skeptical of religion, and they will believe anything, right? So what we have now is people coming against Christianity because of what other people have wrote, or other people experiences of Christianity, and not understanding that other people's experiences of Christianity was rooted in something something happened to them that made them not like Christianity, right? So, but they don't see the person who had an issue with Christianity. They only hear one side of the story of the issue with Christianity. If they do hear it and say, okay, I don't like Christianity, Jesus is fake. Come on, wake up, people. You're stupid for believing in Christianity. If you're black, you're stupid for believing in Christianity. Never picking up the Bible themselves, right? Never knowing what the Word of God is saying, taking somebody else or taking what they perceive somebody else is saying. So there's a move against, especially black Christians, to try to wake us up, right? Like we're in something that's trying to take our mind and enslave our mind, and we don't know the truth. Excuse me. That's out there. So I want to speak to that today, right? If you have had this happen to you, if somebody has tried to question your Christianity, what should you tell them? And the top 3 things I would tell them is, number 1, understand what the Bible called religion, right? The Bible called religion is an act of love. That's what religion is, right? The Bible says religion is an act of love and to keep yourself clean. The Bible says religion in James 1 and 27, I believe it is. James 1:27 says that religion undefiled and unblemished and a good religion is to look after those who can't help themselves, to look after the widows and the fatherless, right? The widows, see, the reason why it was widows, you had to look after widows is because at the time the Bible was being written, it was a very man-centric or man-dominated culture, even more than what today. We think today was man-dominated. Back then was a lot more male-dominated, right? So if a widow lost her husband, she pretty much couldn't do anything. Like she couldn't go to market because you had to have a man. Only men can talk to men. Women can talk to men, right? Like it was frowned upon for a woman, a married woman, or a woman that's not married, to talk to a married man. It was frowned upon. Matter of fact, we gotta look at that culture and understand that it was a lot of things done differently. Like you didn't just go up to a girl and say, "Hey, how you doing? I like you. Can we talk?" No, it wasn't like that. If you were looking for a wife, you had that found most likely by your parents, right? Your parents had that set up kind of like as soon as you were born, they probably had that set up, before you was born. Okay, when my kid have a kid and your kid have, when I have a kid and you have a kid, our kids, if they're boys and girls, they're gonna get married. So it was set up way before, so it was no interaction between male and female. So when a woman lost her husband, she had no way to really handle business, especially if she didn't have a son. That's why it was so important for them to have firstborn child to be a male, right? If you was a man and your first few children was male, you was in there, you was good, you was set. That was your insurance. Matter of fact, your business did better. So it was a very male-dominated world. Secondly, because it was male-dominated world, you really once there was a fatherless child, that child could not do business. It was hard. It was depending on her mother, which the mother couldn't do business, or his mother, right? Excuse me. It was rough on him. Now the child was 16, 17, and the father died. That was insurance. He was good, especially if he had a couple of boys that was grown and he passed away. The family was good. The family business would probably stay and maybe even thrive, right? Excuse me. But if he had little kids, then it was a different story, right? It was a lot different story. So we gotta understand the time. But in today's time, it's different, right? Because you can have grown men needing help. You can have grown men that's homeless and hungry and that needing help. And God said religion is to look after those people. Religion is to make sure people who are in need are taken care of. That's what religion is, right? That's what the Bible said. Religion says to keep yourself unspotted, to keep yourself out of sin, to keep yourself holy, to walk in and have people looking at you as a good person. That's what religion is. Religion is not throwing the Bible verses at people. That don't prove you're religious. That just proves that you want to dominate someone. Jesus preached all the time. Jesus was always about the gospel. Jesus was always about the kingdom, but he never forced anybody to accept him. If you didn't accept Jesus, that was on you, right? So people say, okay, well, Jesus was kind of crazy, loon, heretic, or whatever. Jesus just told the truth in the world that didn't want to hear the truth, and you're gonna be called crazy. I mean, look now how us Christians is gonna be looked at. You can already see it's coming. We already been called crazy. We already been called loons. I'm probably called loons all the time, right? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. See, it's so easy to dismiss Jesus as this loon, but if we see the truth, we are dismissed as loons because of what we believe in. It's because of the standard that we live in, the standard that we preach. We are living in a standardless world. We're finna talk about a story where there's gonna be little boys kissing each other. by the age of 6, 7. So we're talking about a standardless world, and if you're gonna come with high morals and high standards, you're not gonna be liked. You're gonna be looked at differently. They're gonna call you crazy and call you a loon. That's what this whole culture is setting up to. It's not that we're gonna be called loons because of what we believe in. It's that people are gonna have such standards that's gonna be so different from Christ that we're gonna be crazy. They're not gonna call us. We're gonna be crazy. We're gonna be seen as crazy. You telling me you can have sex with all these people and you decide not to? You're gonna be faithful to one woman? Man, you stupid. That's how it's gonna be. You can hear that now. You can hear that now from Christians, from people who claim to be Christians. Hey, homie, I know I'm a Christian too, homie, but ain't nothing wrong with having a little woman on the side, homie. Like, what? Where you see that in Scripture? Oh, man, you ain't got to be a Bible thumper, man. You ain't got to push the Bible on me. That's what we experiencing now from so-called Christians. Right? Come on, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. We're gonna get into the news story, but I just want to discuss this because there's gonna be that Jesus said it and it's gonna happen. If Jesus said it, it's gonna happen, and there's gonna be a coming of a falling away from the faith. Now, how this falling away is gonna look? Is it gonna look like people are going to just come out and say, "I'm not a Christian no more"? Or is people going to say going to live counter to Christianity even though they claim Christianity? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. This is live. I'm not doing it live, but hey, listen. I'm not doing all that editing. I figured, because I am trying to take this show live, this podcast live, and when I go live, I don't want to have so much editing. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to have any editing live, so y'all have to just forgive me when I cough. Plus, I'm not trying to be a perfect. I present anything to you perfect but the gospel. So if I cough a little bit, I just ask you to forgive me. But there is the coming of the falling away. It's going to be a lot of people fall away. And if you care about them calling you crazy now, if you care about them calling you a loon now, you're going to be treated like a loon in this coming culture that we're finna have. I was on Facebook this morning, and I had posted something. There was a picture of Donald Trump, and it said something about we don't deserve Donald Trump and everything in America or whatever. And I said, but do we? I think God's judgment. Now this is a whole nother segment. I'm talking about the judgment that's coming. See, a lot of times we think that judgment is when natural disasters happen and wipes out lives being taken. That's not really necessarily always the judgment of Christ or the judgment of the Father. Right, I really do believe that God sets up natural judgments that happen. That when you do this, nature starts speaking, nature starts having pains and everything, and that start happening. But then I think that God uses people to judge us. For a long time now, I think God has been using our presidents to judge us, and I think that the next president is going to be used as a way to judge America, and it will be used as a way to push Christians to the Bible or away from the Bible, right? When the next president happens, I don't know who it is. It could be Hillary Clinton, it could be Donald Trump. I don't know who it is. But with the next presidency, I'm telling you, you think Barack Hussein Obama was bad, if you think he was bad, or if you think that Barack Hussein Obama was good, I don't see it getting better. Now I don't understand how you can say any of the last two presidents was good. I don't think neither one of the Bushes, not Clinton nor Obama, was a good president, right? They didn't have Christian values, or they didn't operate in Christian values. And that's for me. That's the first thing to have a Christian, the good Christian president, is to operate in Christian values. You can say whatever you want. Oh, he was against abortion. Roe versus Wade happened a long time ago, and nothing ever was happened to stop it. So the last few presidents, they I guess they didn't care about abortion because it got worse and worse. They didn't stop them, right? So we made issues of homosexual marriages, right? So that's what we made issues of. But the biggest issue was abortion, because if we look at abortion, what let's just talk about what abortion really is. If we look through cultures in past, even in past American cultures before America was taken over by the quote unquote founders, you're talking about they're finding now in caves of bones of babies that was sacrificed. There has always been sacrifice of babies. Always. Abortion is nothing but that. Abortion is sacrifice of babies. So over for the last few years, I forget what's the numbers, but it's like thousands upon thousands of babies that have been aborted. Thousands upon thousands of babies that have been sacrificed. We have in the news. I'm gonna pull the story up. I found this on Facebook. It was on my Facebook. And if you're not following me on Facebook, you should be, man. I post a lot of stories. But I found this story yesterday on Facebook about this congressman that came out and said that black women can't say that Black Lives Matter because they're leading in abortion. Now, some people are saying that the numbers are untrue, or the numbers are manipulated with that. And I do believe that's to be true, because I'm gonna be honest with you, this abortion issue is not a black issue, it's not a white issue. It is a ungodly, a person without Jesus issue. It is this is a matter of the heart, not the matter of the skin color. As when we talk about the later about race, we'll see, a lot of stuff in racism is disguised as racism, and it's really not. It's a matter of the heart. But we don't want to be honest, but we rather blame it on race, because we think ourselves to be better than each other. We want to blame things on race when it's really not. So you have the congressman. I'm trying to find the story as we speak. I did not think I was going to read the story. Probably should have had it. I probably should have had it ready. But we'll get to it. I told you, man. When you come to my podcast, man, we do things a little different here. It's more. It's real. It's how I do things. It's not perfect, but it's perfect. Kind of like my Facebook. Once again, go follow me on Facebook. Go follow the ministry at thirdmovement.com slash I'm sorry, at facebook.com slash thirdmovement, and then follow me on Facebook at delacylhoward.com. All right, so it says this story is out of the political.com. Rep. Sean Duffy. So many black women have abortions because they jump on anything that moves. That's the headline. Washington D.C. Representative Sean Duffy says he heard a lot about the criminal justice system and institution threats on African Americans from the from Congressional Black Caucus. But on Thursday, he wondered aloud on the White House floor, I'm sorry, on the House floor, why the CBC wasn't more vocal about how their communities are targeted in abortions. Here are some of the stunning facts. The African American culture community is 15% of the country, um, but holds accountable for 40% of abortions. 15% of Americans, 40% of abortions in New York City. The most recent stats is that African American women had more abortions than live birth. So he blamed that he blamed abortion basically that's happening in America on the black culture. Now, to be honest with you, I do question: is there a bit of racism, or is there a bit of listening to something that's always has been said that's never been true? Right? I don't believe that the black people are committing 40% of abortions. I believe I believe black women have a fair share, and it's not about race. It's about the issue that are there happening. It's about the heart. It's about the perverse heart and the mind. It is about people going out and making people do things through manipulation that they don't want to do or they shouldn't do. Right? This ain't gonna deep. He later on he goes to say that it seems like black women would just have sex with anything, but that's the culture. That's everyone. And I always say, okay, when we look at our music is telling us to have sex with just anybody. We look at TV shows, it's telling us to have sex with anybody. They're telling us to do an act that has consequences, but they're not showing the consequences. So everything is telling us to do this, and we're listening. That's the issue. It's manipulation. It's gullibility. Well, I don't even know if I'm going to blame it on being gullible, because you know better. But at the end of the day, it's a heart issue. You decide to have an abortion, you deciding that, right? So this can't be blamed on a black or white issue. This is an issue that lacks Christ. If we really want to change people, especially America, if we want America to get back to the Christian values, we gotta look past this race. We have to look past skin color. And I feel like I'm going into the topic, which in a couple minutes I will be. What a way to get into the topic, huh? But like I was saying, if you want to change America, if you really want to change the heart of Americans, how about let's start talking about the issues and the things that's really going on. Let's not try to divide the country with stats like we've been doing. Because all this is making you believe that it's just black people. Black people are getting abortions, just black people. Everybody's getting abortions. Now, you want to know how this 40% come about? How it getting manipulated? I couldn't say that word. I couldn't get out. I started to stutter for a bit. In New York, black people are not only the minority, physical wise, like they're also the minority financial wise. Whereas in the white people, they're more. They have those that do follow the money. So when you have a people group that can afford to do that, the numbers are going to be miscued. Like what I'm trying to say is every abortion is not being counted in this whole number. Now, is it important that white people do it more than black people, or black people do it more than white people, or Hispanic do it more than the other two? It's not important. It's important that they're doing it. And it's important that we're not counting the true numbers. I don't care about if the true numbers came out, black people would still be at the top. I don't care about if the true numbers came out, black people would still be at the bottom. I care about the fact that black people, white people, Hispanic people, Jewish people, whatever color people you are having abortions. And the biggest reason is because we are living in a culture that says, don't get married. Marriage is stressful. Marriage is this. Marriage is that. Marriage is this. Marriage is that. And anything good. But sex is wonderful. You can have sex and it just be so good. But not telling you that there's a price to pay for sex and there's not a price to pay for marriage. If two people get married and they are staying in a committed relationship where they're committed to each other, not having sex outside of marriage, that marriage relationship will benefit. If they're in marriage the way God called it to be, right, trusting each other, a man not being untrustworthy, a man being trustworthy, a woman being trustworthy, they flowing together, that marriage is going to produce something that no sexual relationship can, or no non-marriage can. See, most people think that, okay, successful marriages is this, is that, not having arguments, or not, no, a successful marriage is producing kids and raising kids with that are good kids. The qualifiers for a bishop tell you to raise kids that are in order. That's signs of a successful marriage. A successful marriage is that they're not in debt. That's signs of a good marriage. It's not about being rich. Because you got people that get married to each other and they make it big financially and their kids are horrible. Right? Then you also got the marriages that they make it big and they don't make it big. They barely get by, but their kids are just like really, really, really well mannered kids that are really good in school and they got their minds together and everything. That's what happens when the parents are flowing together, when they're flowing nicely, when it's not about money. When they don't see success as, well, I didn't kick him out last night. like we got marriages that just say that, oh, I didn't sleep on the couch last night. We got marriages saying that, okay, we had sex for the first time in the last 5-6 years. This stuff is sad because we're not flowing in marriages correctly. See, the thing that they don't tell you, and we're gonna get into the start this off by starting the racial aspect of the show by saying this. The thing they don't tell you is there's a power and a benefit in family. And that power and benefit is according to marriage, right? Because the marriage relationship is built on the same covenant. The marriage covenant is built on the same covenant that we have with our Christ, with Jesus our Christ. Right? It's the same type of covenant. I thought about something last night, late last night. I was in bed and this thing blessed me. Right? So I did a meme and it says that we should be living like God glory is at stake and not our wants and desires are in demand. Right? We should be living like everything we do is gonna show people God's glory. Now God don't need us to give His glory. God is gonna give His glory regardless. But He does use us, and we do have a chance to give Him glory. And that's the way we should live it. And I wondered to myself, what would happen if we live in a marriage that we wanted to glorify God in? Right? So that changed everything about my mindset last night. It really did. Cause I'm not gonna lie to you. You'll give you a little testimony. I've been afraid of marriages. I've been in a couple relationships that failed. Then I watched a lot of my mom marriages. My mom got married I think 3 or 4 times, and they all ended in divorce. So I'm very skeptical of relationships now, and I was very fearful of relationships. And it's one of those things that I didn't know until I thought about that. I put things into oh my goodness, I just forgot the word, into perspective. Wow. No, but I put things in perspective. It shouldn't matter about my fear, because if I'm doing all I can to give God the glory, I'm gonna be all right. There's no, I just don't believe that there's no way that I can do all I can to give God glory and my marriage should be able to fail. Right? Now this is that's just a throw in. We're gonna talk about that probably on Friday. But we have a culture that don't understand the power of family. And not understanding the power of family, we have one culture who's struggling with family and another culture who has it kind of together. I mean, to be honest with you, in the white culture in America, yeah, your husband and wife are married, but they're not happy. Whereas the black culture, we have an epidemic of single parent homes. But at the same time, in the white culture, is coming, right? And these are things that kills relationships, because we think, because okay, she has a husband and she don't, she's better. That plays into isms, right? Some kind of racism or classism, some kind of ism. And the issue is we need to fix the families. And I know people will say, well, you sound like a Republican. I don't sound nothing like a Republican. Republicans are, to me, are war happy. They're ready for war. They're ready to fight, and they don't understand what war costs. I sound like a Christian. This is what we're supposed to be talking about: family, building races, putting races together, not racist. Racist, racist like more than one race. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what's going on with my vocabulary this morning. So when we get into to this conversation, let's how do we build America? How do we stop America from being racist? Right? How do we stop racism in America? The church. How does the church do that? When we look at when I look at racism, I think the biggest part of racism is ignorance. Ignorance does not mean a bad thing, even though we said and use it in a way that it seems like it's a bad, like, well, you ignorant. It's not a bad thing. Ignorance is listen to a news station who has all one color people and talk about another color people and say, this is what they are, and listen to me. When that person has no relationship built up with anybody of a different race, that's ignorance. I got a friend named Paul, and we're not gonna just leave it at Paul. And Paul and I have been friends for almost 14 years. Around 14 years. I've been to Paul's house. His family and my family has did Thanksgiving and Christmas together. I've slept at Paul's house numerous of times. The only reason why I have to knock at Paul's house is because they have a dog and they need to get the dog. He run out in the streets. He lives in an apartment complex, so one of the reasons why I have to knock at his house. At Paul's house, I always felt like it was a second home, a second place for me to live, a second home, right? And mine, I hope, has felt the same way for him. Paul has a relationship with me. Paul has a relationship with her. I've introduced him to some friends, some of my black friends from where I was raised at and everything. He has a relationship with black people. If Paul wanted to say something about race, I think I would listen. And he's not the kind of guy that would say anything about race. He really do believe that we all are just one people with just different colors. Paul is not ignorant when it comes down to black people or white people, Hispanic people. I think we have another friend in our group that is Hispanic, not Spanish. There's a well diverse people, Irish people in our group, in my little friendship group with them. So there's no racism because there's no racist because there's relationships. But we look at a person like, I don't know, Bill O'Reilly, who runs a show on Fox News Channel. And Bill O'Reilly always has something to say about other cultures, especially the black culture. Now, I'm not questioning Bill O'Reilly. Do he have black friends? I would never question a person on that. But I do question, does Bill O'Reilly know black people? I have a good friend that's white. I have a good friend that's Hispanic. I have good friends that are black. I have all these built relationship with all these different cultures, but I'm not going to say anything about another person's culture. I don't feel I have the right to say anything about Hispanic culture because I know Spanish people. I don't feel I have the right to say anything about white culture because I know white people. I feel I have something to say about the black culture because I know the black culture. I feel I can say something about the Christian culture community because I am a Christian in this community. I've been to white churches. I've been to black churches. I've never been to Hispanic churches. Been invited to Hispanic churches, but would never go because of the language barrier. Most Hispanic churches that I've been invited to have translators and all that, and that's kind of weird to me. Anyway, but I'm not going to say anything about other churches other than the ones that I've been to has been all majority that color. If I've been to a black church, it's been majority black. I was raised in a black church. Matter of fact, I have a blog on Facebook, .com/Third Movement. Shameful plug. But I have a blog up there. I'm giving my experiences of being raised in a black church. Should check it out. Right? So I've seen the division inside the churches. And it's an issue. And I can speak to that because I've seen that. I can speak to going to a white church and feeling weird because I'm the only black person there. I'm going to a black church or being raised in a black church that's feeling weird because there's no white people here. There's no Hispanic people here. It's just all black people. Now, I understand that we do things differently, but the difference is beautiful. Shouldn't it be? Shouldn't the difference be beautiful? Like, if the black church is hoops, then every few Sundays is so you should go hear hoops. If the white churches teach, then every few Sundays is so you should go hear teaching. Once we can get over the divide of that, where we actually start getting to know each other inside these churches. My church that I grew up in, that I came up in, came up in after I got grown and chose my own church. We did one thing, and I love my pastor for this. Not just for that, but you know what I mean. We had a sister church, and our sister church was a white church, all white. When we go visit their church, man, their church was amazing. Like, they had like buildings, like we had a storefront. But that church, they had a building with buildings inside of buildings. Like, they had a special place for the kids to go, a special place for this adult to go, and there. It was amazing. It was beautiful. But you know what they loved it more? They loved when we came and we praised God our way. And suddenly, when we started praising God, they started praising Him too, and there was no way. It wasn't our way, it was just the way to do it. And then when they sung their songs, we got into it, and it became our way. And that's what the body of Christ needs to do. We need to start incorporating our styles together. If you believe, if you grew up in a church that had quartet singers, that's cool. I grew up in a church with gospel choir. How about we blend that together? Right? How beautiful that would be. Then some people say, man, that sounds crazy, man. I don't want to hear no quartet. Man, you want to be ignorant. You don't want to know anything. You want to stay and do the same thing. Praising God the same way. That's not what the Father wants. Matter of fact, all over the Bible, I don't know. It's like God been drawing me lately through praise, to praise, to praise, to praise. And maybe because my praise life ain't what it used to be. Maybe because I focus more now on teaching and learning. That I'm not gonna lie, I lack on praise. I don't praise it like I used to. Especially the last few months since I've been laid off. It's been kind of hard. But He's been leading me to praise, taking me to scriptures that says saying to God a new song. I can tell you countless and countless of scriptures of Paul, of David, and these different people telling you to sing to God a new song. I remember I used to get up on my days off. I used to get up 6 in the morning and go walking. And when I go walk, I will be singing to God early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nobody up 6 o'clock in the morning. I was off on weekends. My bad. I meant to tell you that. I was off on weekends. I had Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays off. So I remember I used to get up early, especially on Sunday mornings, and go have a walk in the morning and just be singing. And you can hear the birds singing and everything. It's just a beautiful experience. And just singing to God a new song. The words just automatically came. I just opened my mouth and the words just came. And then there was times I would take a walk and sing some of the songs I grew up in, the churches I grew up in. The whole idea was to sing to God and worship and praise God. I wonder how much more the Father would enjoy our worship and praise if we didn't care what the person next to us looked like. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not easy. Some stuff is brained in there deep in the black culture from my experiences, and I'm sure it is that way, the same thing in the white culture. But in the black culture, some things are in there deep. There's a lot of different trust issues deep in the black culture. And we have to address those. Right? We have to address these things that are deep, that the deep trust issues. For instance, the thing that's flaring and showing out now is the trust and the issues we're having with the police. Because there's something deep in there with the police and black people. And this stuff, if it just gets suppressed, if you say, okay, well, you know what, man, they cops and their jobs are dangerous and this and that and this and that, so you just need to take it for what it is. No, my brothers, my sisters. We have to talk about this stuff. We have to talk about, I know for myself, I've experienced this. I've experienced it getting in my truck, leaving my home just to go to the store, and the whole way to the store getting followed by a cop, and the whole way back getting followed by a cop. I've experienced that over and over again. I lived in a part of my city that was, I guess, the quote-unquote ghetto, even though I don't think we have ghetto parts our city, but it's just where where the most black people and Hispanic people live. And I remember having a Ford F-150. I was a very plain truck. It was no tires, no nothing. I'm a very plain dude. I listen to country music. You know, it's either gospel rap, or country, or R&B. I get to a little bit of R&B. Some stuff you can't trust anymore. So I don't give off that vibe of a thug or a bad person. But sure thing, I did get followed. It's stuff like that that's in the black community between, for example, us and cops that we need to talk about. This stuff need to be talked about. But what America is saying is, well, we don't need to talk about it. You just need to have respect. Have respect for the police. There is a lot of disrespect in the black culture towards police, and some of it has merit. If you've seen the movie, I haven't seen it yet, but I've been hearing about the movie Straight Outta Compton in the parts where they get pulled over by the police and everything, and it burst that whole movement of F the police, the whole F the police music and movement. And I'm not trying to talk about this and make this about police. This is just an example. Where you can see where sometimes black people are valid from not trusting the police. And I'm not saying this to say, okay, let's start a war against the police. No. Everybody needs to be held accountable in this position. Black people without hate for the police need to be held accountable, and police for everything they do, whether they train or whatever, it needs to be held accountable. There needs to be accountability happen. Listen, I'm sorry, I'm going here, but when a 12-year-old can get killed with a BB gun, a 12-year-old with a BB gun, when the police just pull up and shoot, no questions asked, just shoot, no freeze, just shoot, and nothing happened, there's a lack of accountability. I teach all the young men that I come in contact with, right? I teach them first thing, dude. Don't give a police anything to use a weapon on you for. Respect. Just have that respect. Have pride. Right? You don't gotta say, well, I have my rights. Yes, you may have rights, but your rights can get violated and you can end up in trouble. So the smart thing to do is to keep your head, keep composure, right? And it's not me telling you to bow down to police. No, it's telling you to stay alive. Secondly, understand this, and then I preach this. They leave the home every day and kiss their wives. These policemen, they leave home kissing their wives every day and don't know if they're coming back to them. That's stressful, man. That is stressful. Every day could be their last day on this earth, not as a policeman, on this earth. That's stressful. And then you don't know the call that they had before you. I've talked to cops who has been responsible to a call that where babies were dead, where little child was dead, where little children was dead. That's stress. So that's a conversation that needs to be had. And these are the conversations that needs to be had. But because our country is so much about war, these are conversations that we won't have. Because we want to hate each other, it seems like. Like the cops want to hate the people, and the people want to hate the cops. It's a lot of stuff needs to be happening. Conversations like, maybe I am not a thug. Maybe you're not some rich white racist, right? I refuse to live that way. That everybody I talk to is, man, listen to me. If you don't know me, you will get to know me. But looking at this show, you can tell I can talk for hours with ease. I mean, I've been talking for hours with ease and then want to make another video after I do the podcast. So I can talk But I also love to talk to people and listen. I love to listen. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I've had conversations with people that was white, Hispanic at gas stations, just random conversations. I don't know. Like I said, I really do believe that what you give off is what you get. Now, I don't give off that thug aura or whatever. I keep a clean cut, and I like to dress up in casual, nice casual all the time. Right? I wear sweater vests and slacks. Not because I want to be like somebody else. That's just how I feel comfortable. And I think I give off a vibe that is more approachable. Right? I don't give off that vibe where I'm hard or a thug or whatever. I give off a vibe of an everyday American pastor. At least I hope to. Because I want black people to be able to come up to me and talk to me, and I want white people to be able to come up to and talk to me. I want Hispanic people to be able to come up and talk to me. I've had older white women come up and just have conversations with me, not feel threatened. I'm a big dude and not feel threatened. And I don't look at her as this old rich white woman that's a racist. We have conversations, and after the conversations of anybody I have, they look at things differently. I'm not one of those dudes that's going to talk about football. Well, I will get a little football talk going, but I'm not just going to talk to you about football. I'm gonna share my faith, what I believe in, the things that I hold important. I like to give a conversation that's gonna have. If you're gonna have a conversation with me about nothing, if you want to have a conversation with me that's gonna waste my time, I'm literally gonna walk away from you. I believe in sharing ideas. I believe in sharing who I am. I believe in sharing family stories. Call me crazy, but this is what I believe in. I don't want to talk about stuff that's not gonna matter tomorrow. I'm not saying that I listen. I'm probably sure I can have conversations with people that are racist. That's probably gonna not want to talk to me. I'm sure that happens, but I have not experienced that. And I live in a town that's probably a good. It's about a good 80% white and probably a good 3% black, and the rest is Hispanic. But being a security guard, working at gay houses, I work at gay houses not where these are gay houses with rich people, rich white people, basically. Black people don't own gay houses. You have some black people in there, some Hispanic in there. But for the majority, it's rich white people. And I have conversations with them. Now, me doing that doesn't mean I'm going to have these glasses on that's going to say, okay, everybody is like them. But I think for the most part, the biggest reason why we are experiencing so much this whole racism or this whole bigotry is because we don't talk to each other. We assume. We assume what the news say about black people is right and what the news say about white people is right. I don't look at every old rich white man and say, okay, he's a Bernie Madoff. Like he just stole a bunch of people's money and got rich. I don't do that. And I don't look at the news and say, okay, all my people are thugs. I don't do that. I don't know that many thugs. I don't know that many thugs. And the thugs that I do know, like imagine this. I'm into this dude home who telling me who just telling me this is the guy on the truth. I'm gonna tell you these two stories. Then I'm gonna get going. I'm got this almost been over an hour. But I'm in this dude home, right? I'm over here with my kids and the twins in this home and everything. This thug dude got tattoos, everything, tatted up everything, just crazy stories. She telling me about, this he done robbed and that he done robbed and everything, and then he talking about, then he just breaking down like almost crying to how he feel bad about this, right? He had this ideal of what a thug was, and he tried to reach that, and now he realized he needs Jesus, and he's almost breaking down, about to cry. And the whole time, I'm like, wow, this is the hardest dude I know. This dude is like straight up gangster, and he's about to cry. And I'm like, this is the power of Jesus Christ. So while he's breaking the story down, all I'm doing is just praying, ask God just to give him a heart of forgiveness. Let him know that you love him and you forgive him for this. And he can turn from these things. I get calls from people in jail, right, that just need to be uplifted with the gospel. That's what I deal with on a daily, not on a daily basis, but that's what I deal with in this ministry. So for me, like, if I don't get a lot of views, I don't care, right? Because I know what I'm saying is powerful, man. Because if I say it to you and you disagree with it, that's fine. But I'm saying the people that's in the middle of the need and they use it and it's giving them power. You know, having people calling me about their marriages. Having people calling me about their relationship with the other family members. I'm trying to smooth that out, and it's looking like there's no way that this can be smoothed out. But I'm like, man, you gotta trust in Jesus and trust that forgiveness is enough. These are the things that I'm dealing with, and it's not all black people. It's Hispanic people. It's white people. It's some of everybody that I'm dealing with. Because I'm gonna say, you know what? I don't care about your race. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let me show you how Jesus can change your life. Okay, you want to tell me some stories? Okay, I had white people come up to me and tell me that they didn't like black people because, to be honest with you, they just didn't know. They came up and tell me that they don't know black people. They don't hate black people. They just don't know them, and they're afraid of what they hear about us, right? And that's the media. That's the media. That's the media manipulating people. Because you can't think, if you listen, I can take evangelicals, right? Evangelical Christians. And every story that I put out is about somebody doing it. Like the other story I put out the other day about the pastor stealing from the collection plate right in front of people. It's a bunch of those stories I can put out, man. A bunch of stories that I can put out. And people that listen to me, they can see, oh man, them evangelicals are evil. But these are a minute people of the evangelicals, and that's what's happening in the black culture. The minute of people that's done and did all this craziness and all this stealing and all this gangster thugism and everything, the whole race is getting judged by these few people, and that's ignorance. And long as we have that mindset, we're gonna stay just where we are. The biggest thing that changed my life, one of the biggest things that changed my life, somebody told me that African Americans, when they get here from island culture, when some of the people come from the island cultures, whether it be Haitian or Jamaican or whatever, they get over here and they say the African Americans look down on them. And they feel just how we feel, African Americans, how we feel in America. And we made them that way. So that let me know that this is not an issue of color. White people aren't born this way because black people, we do it too. It's an issue of the heart. It's an issue of we think that we're better. It's the issue of I'm going to listen to this news and the news is going to paint a picture of a certain people and I'm going to see myself better than them. I propose 3 things that we need to do to end racism. 1, stop being in these communities that's filled with people of your culture. Right? These gated communities that's full with white people, these hood, quote unquote hoods that's full with black people. That has to stop. In other words, we have to start getting to know each other. We have to stop putting down these biases that we have of each other and say, you know what, I'm going to speak to you and you tell me who you are. Let me judge your life. Now, I'm sure we all have stories of people doing us wrong. I have stories of black people doing me wrong as well as other people of other cultures. I'm not going to hate my people because of what they did to me. I ain't talking about my people as in black, I'm talking about anybody. If you on earth, you're my people. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie at all. I look at 9/11. I look at some of the things that ISIS is doing, and I do question Muslims. But at the same time, I've been coming to a spot where, okay, well, maybe this is not all Muslims. This is not how all Muslims are. I don't know any Middle Eastern Muslims that I know of. Right, I know a lot of American Muslims. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but I know a few American Muslims, but I don't know any Middle Eastern Muslims. I knew a Middle Eastern guy. I don't know if he was Muslim, but he ran a little local store where I used to live at and everything. I used to go and get boiled peanuts, the Cajun boiled peanuts and everything. And I think I used to I used to get boiled peanuts and a money order for my rent. My rent more than money order. We used to have to pay money orders at my old place, and I used to go get a money order every month. So around the first or the second, I always went in there and talked to him. And one time I was working at a school. I'll tell you that story in a second. But I always went in and talked to him. He seemed like a cool dude, man. His daughter had went to school with us. Well, me and my brother was a year apart. He was in the 11th, I was in the grade, in 12th grade. So she was with him. I never knew her till after school, like till I started going to that store. And my brother was like, yeah, I used to hang out all the time, But his senior year, I guess he hung out with, and I was gone. But I don't know if there was Muslims. I know there was from the East. But good people, man, just good people. All he wanted to do was make a little money, live the American dream, get his family, his kids in school and everything. He had an older son, much older than us. And now all he wanted to do is take care of his family. So when I look at what's going on with ISIS, when I look at what happened in London, I don't just assume that all Muslims are bad. Muslims need Jesus too, the true Christ. They need him too, but they're not my enemy. And then another story, but I had another story about peanuts and race. So I was working at a elementary school. I was doing sub teaching at the time, and I was sub teaching with this group for people for the hearing impaired. And good people, good teachers, everything. And then the kids were so cute. They were so awesome, man. They couldn't hear, but they had ways of talking to you. And they had little sense of humor too, man. And their little side language. They told little jokes in their side language and everything. It was pretty cool. One of the best experiences I ever had. But I remember talking to the teachers and everything, and we were talking about food and shared experience with food and everything, and they were talking about rum cake. They had this girl, one of the teachers, she made rum cake and brought it in, and I tasted it. It actually had real rum in it. My first and only experience with rum cake. It was a little strong. I think she had used too much. She was a Christian lady too. Matter of fact, her husband and I coached football. That's how I got started in football. Was her husband. Good Christian couple, man. And they ended up leaving and going to I think saltwater Utah, somewhere in Utah. Anyways, and there was another two teachers there from New York, and they both taught ESE, but not with the deaf kids, but with more slow learning kids or whatever. And they had never even heard of boiled peanuts, let alone tried. And they was two vegans. It was hilarious. So I went and got some boiled peanuts, and they started eating peanuts, and they got weirded out because they knew it was peanuts. But if you have never had boiled peanuts, they taste like meat, especially the Cajun ones. They say it tastes like a really good seasoned meat or a bean. Um, and they were eating them up like this tastes like meat. It's like I get a meat high. They were two vegans, and I guess I think she said once a month they would go and eat like a steak or something like that. But only like once a month. And she was like, man, I may not even need to eat steak no more after eating these boiled peanuts and everything. So it was an experience. It was something because down here in the black culture, boiled peanuts is crazy heavy. I'm in the South. especially in Florida. Down here, boy, peanuts, sunflower seeds, these stuff are heavy in the black culture. And it was like them experiencing the little black culture. And they loved it. And I seen it with the rum cake, because I've never seen a black person make rum cake. I seen black people do things with rum, but it wasn't about a cake. But it was the experience of, okay, I was this white dude amongst what it was, four black women. I mean, four white women, and one of the women was actually married to a Middle Eastern guy, but I don't think he was Muslim. But it was just like we was talking and we was experiencing each other culture, and they obviously didn't see me as a thug. They was more forward thinking and more willing to try black cultures. That's what we need in America. We need these things to happen. I don't live life with some glasses on that saying, okay, black people are the only people I should be around. I want to be around everybody. So conversation and getting to know each other needs to be one thing that happens. The second thing that needs to happen is we need to stop listening to these news and stop saying, okay, if the news is the only way I'm gonna learn about other people's culture. The news is not gonna be a way that you learn about other people's culture, because the news is always gonna be biased toward the culture. Always. That's when our media and our news are not something that is forward thinking. As much as they want to be, as much as they say they are, they're really not. Fox News take news one way, CNN take news another way. MSN and whatever, MSBC, whatever, take news another way. This is just my experience. Right? This is just my experience. The third thing we need is we need understanding. Not only do we need to get to know each other, know each other's cultures. Not only do we need to not listen to the news, we need understanding. We need only the understanding that only comes from Christ. And that's it. I'm gonna love people no matter what. Man, I've talked to, like I said, I've talked to people that are on the other side. I talked to witches. I built a relationship with a witch trying to give her Jesus, while she was trying to turn me to witchery, witchcraft, or whatever it is. She was a sweet lady. And it hurted me when I told her that her white magic is satanic. It hurted me because it hurted her, and I didn't want to hurt her. She was an older lady. She was sweet. I didn't want to hurt her, but I had to tell the truth. But I told it in a way where I was having understanding. And I was still able to have that relationship with. Even now, she moved away, and I still text her every now and again, and she still texts me. I call her my Flash buddy. We look at Flash and Arrow together. Our comic book story. We'll share like things about a video we've seen about different comic books and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a bit of a comic book geek. I'm a bit of a nerd. I think Paul said it best. We should come all things so we can get all people. Now, I'm not gonna become a drunk to get drunk people. But if I can build a relationship with somebody over sports and throw Christ in there and win them to Christ, or if I can build a relationship with somebody over, like me and her, we have a relationship over Flash and Arrow. And listen, sometimes I will rock her. What I mean by that is sometimes I have her thinking. When I say rock, I mean thinking. Sometimes I have her thinking. especially when she's going through something. And then I just give her a verse and everything, and then I just start telling her, I start praying, and she'll be like, yeah, I really need it and everything, and she'll be thinking about it. Now her background is she was raised in the Roman Catholic faith. She said some kind of science where it was Christian Science. She came up in it, and it didn't make sense to her, and she stopped believing it. But there was Roman Catholic people. So what really happened is she had a bad experience with religion, and now I'm trying to undo all that badness with her. I was trying to undo all that badness with her, so she can see Jesus for who she really is. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The hardest people that I have to do ministry to or do ministry with is people who have been in a Christianity that has not been has been a horrible Christianity. Because once they leave it, it's so hard to get them back into the right. Because they're gonna always have the experiences as a crutch to go back on. Well, this happened to me, and I'm not gonna leave it. This happened to me, and I hear what you're saying, but still, this shouldn't happen that way. These are things I had to experience with. I have to experience with. I'm out to so dry, y'all. I tell you, man, this conversation just flowed so well. I didn't even read the story that I wanted to read. About the school that's opening up for the LGBT kids and teachers. And I guess we'll get on that tomorrow. I hope you guys are having a good time with these podcasts, because I know I am. I'm getting to share some experience with you guys of things that I've seen and things that's been happening. I guarantee that if we start talking to each other, I guarantee if we start listening to what other people say about each other, we could change. In the church, we have to lead that. The Lace Hour on Third Movement. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Down below, I'm gonna put some videos. I'm gonna put everywhere you can find us. Go check these things out. These are for your growth. This is for you to help you grow. I'm not trying, like I said, I do real life ministry. I do real life ministry. I take phone calls. I talk to people online. Listen, if I ever don't get this thing flowing with views or whatever, I'm still doing ministry. But it's that hunger for more. I want to do more and more and more. Not for salvation, but because of salvation. I've been saved, and I just want to tell everybody that I've been saved, and you can too. The Lace Hour on Third Movement.